Hello, everyone. Putting together my little slideshow to just give you a little background on the era and the major historical figures and a couple other tidbits involved in ragtime. And of course, as I told you, you need a little ragtime music on in the background. All right, let's go, people. So, the main female historical figure, now when I say historical figure, I'm talking about an actual human being that lived during the ragtime era around 1912, give or take a few years either direction. And here is Miss Evelyn Nesbit, and she was the it girl at the time. There's all sorts of comparisons today. I'm so old, I don't know who the it girl is, but we'll talk about some it girls, celebrity women who are honestly celebrities for the sake of being celebrities. They don't might not have any particular talent, but they're it. And she certainly had this sort of longing sexuality about her that drew men to her. And she worked her way into the hearts, at least, and minds, pants of many very wealthy men. And in a time when women did not even have the power to vote, she found a way to move up the ladder. She was the model for the Gibson Girl, and you see here in an advertisement, and Gibson drew this, and this is what younger brother has inside of his closet. Here's a rather racy portrait of her from the time period. There was a lot of relaxing of social norms during this time period, moving sort of out of the uptight Victorian era, where at least publicly people were very restrained, and moving to the freer time, transitioning into the looser 1920s. Many of you might recognize Paris Hilton. I don't know what she's up to today, but she's sort of a modern day, or was at least 10 years ago, modern day Evelyn Nesbit. And of course, her assistant, Kim Kardashian, look at those old phones. They're actually newer than the one I have. Her assistant, Kim Kardashian, has sort of taken on the mantle of professional celebrity. Hey, it's pretty good work if you can get it. Again, no particular talent that either of these women has other than a talent for being a celebrity. And like I said, if you can make a living at it and they make a good one, good for them. There's one of the great scenes in the book is when Emma Goldman removes Evelyn Nesbit's corset. And here's a good example of a corset from that time period. And they were brutal. They could crack a woman's ribs. If a woman wore them too much, they would actually have trouble sitting up when the corset came off, because their muscles would not have to work to hold the torso up. And they were very painful. Sometimes they had metal in them, sometimes whalebone that would bend a little bit, but very painful for a woman to wear. Men and women still wear shapewear, Spanx or whatever, but these corsets were borderline torture devices. And here's what had to be done to get into one. So look at her putting her foot on the small of the other woman's back, and just yanking, 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 and sucking it all in to give some sort of ideal figure. So corsets were certainly a symbol of female oppression, conformity to what men wanted to see. And when Emma Goldman, the great feminist, removes Evelyn Nesbit's and then brings her to a climactic moment in the book for her and for younger brother, this is the kind of corset that Dr. O is writing about. Speaking of Emma Goldman, she's one of my favorite historical figures in American history and in this book, and you get a very nice portrayal of her in the book. Very smart, very well spoken, very much looking for social justice. In some ways, she was an anarchist. Anarchists believe in overthrowing power and not having necessarily any order at all, any government at all. That's not a particularly good idea in my book. But Emma certainly, as an anarchist, wanted us to question all power structures, whether it be government, corporations, patriarchy. She was certainly all of that. And she made some changes, and um, I'm a big fan of Emma Goldman. She's somebody worth looking into. Great speaker, a real celebrity, and of course, she was deported because she was not a native-born American, and she was no great friend of the government's. But there's her mugshot. She was arrested many times and kept that, as we see in the book, she kept a bag of clothes ready so she could go off to jail when they needed to arrest somebody like her. Nice glasses there, Emma. Evelyn Nesbit and the murder trial that happens sort of around her is absolutely 100% real. This happened. It was the trial of the century, right? We haven't had a good celebrity trial in a while. Not that I'm asking for one. But the guy you see here, Stanford White, the architect of the old Madison Square Garden, which we'll talk about in a minute. Stanford White had a relationship with her, but she got married to Harry Thaw, who was extremely wealthy, the son of a very wealthy Pittsburgh industrialist. And Harry Thaw lost it one night, if he ever had it, and he found Evelyn Nesbit and Stanford White here dining together on the rooftop restaurant at the old Madison Square Garden, and he shot him right there in the restaurant. Crazy, absolutely crazy stuff. Stanford White was a architect to the super rich, the over the top. I find them completely disgusting. Vanderbilt mansions and other stone and marble structures that the super rich built in their mansions. He was the architect to those people. So good at what he did, and got shot for fooling around with another man's woman. But let's face it, as the book says, the fight was not over. The fight was not about the heart of Evelyn. The fight was about two men who each wanted to win. And the woman was a secondary figure, not much more than a blow-up doll to them. So there's Stanford White. And there is the Madison Square Garden. That's not the Madison Square Garden of today, which is a disgusting looking building. This is a very nice earlier version of Madison Square Garden. And on the rooftop, you see the tower. That's where there was a restaurant, and that's where Stanford White got shot in the building that he designed. It's like something you'd make up that would be unbelievable in a movie, but it happened. There's another picture. That's the tower of Madison Square Garden, and at the very tippy top, look up there. I can't arrow for you. I don't think. Maybe I can draw on this. Oh yeah, there it is. At the very tippy top there, we see a statue, right? A statue done by St. Gaudens, I think, or was it Daniel Chester French? Oh no, I'm forgetting. Done by a great sculptor of the era, and that is Diana. And it's very famous. Oh, I'm sorry, jumped ahead there. That is Harry Thaw, and you can see he's a little demented looking. He's the guy who shot Stanford White. Love the hat though. That hat is a straw boater, and I'd really like to get one of those that fits me. It's a nice look here, except for the demented eyes. So there he is, the murderer who got away with it. Yeah, when you're rich, who cares? All right, so back to Diana. That is the Diana that was on the top of the Madison Square Garden. And supposedly Evelyn Nesbit was, in fact, the model for it. And you see how massive she was there. This is a great little side trip I'm going to take you guys on. So it was a sculpture, and there are many, not many, but once it was made, you could cast it in different sizes. And here's a copy of Diana. You see her back here. This is at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. You can stand on one of the interior balconies. And what I love about this, absolutely love about this, is there's the sculpture of Diana, right, done early 1900s, right at the end of centuries of beautiful representative sculpture. People doing sculptures of people and animals and all sorts of great things. People don't do a good job with that anymore. However, we see in the foreground, you didn't even see it there. This is an Alexander Calder mobile, and this is an abstract modern sculpture that moves. And when you're standing on that, he was one of the first great abstract sculptors in American art. So if you're ever in Philadelphia, go to the MFA and go inside and stand on the balcony in this spot, and you can see two amazing sculptures. One that is the height of representative sculpture, and one is that one of the best abstract, doesn't represent anything. It's just art sculptures right there. So it's not to be missed. Worth a trip to Philadelphia. Of course, lots of political cartoons. They had fun with this. There's Stanford White as Diana on top of Madison Square Garden. And there's Harry Thaw again being led out of the courthouse. He was arrested and tried and found innocent by reason of insanity.